Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. The puzzle gets worse. So after yesterday's video where my pH level had shot up to ridiculously high, all my water has now been refreshed. So my watering bowl that I'm about to do my mounts has now got clean RO water in it. Just to prove the point, it's my little TDS meter. Which if I turn that on and dunk it, we have a reading of around 10. That's what it normally comes out at. That's 10 parts per million of something. And at that level, what that something is irrelevant. So I'm starting with clean, pure water. That's what RO units do for you. And then we check the pH, which was the problem. That is testing my base tap water, because the RO unit itself is not really going to affect the pH. The acidity or alkalinity of water is not changed much by an RO unit. I'm happy with that. Bang on 7. I'll give it a shake. Alright, 6.9. Still happy with that. Okay, so that water is now going to get used for all of my mounts, bearing in mind a lot of them have got moss on them, and the high acidity level water that was used on them previously may well have some residue in that moss. So they're all going to get flushed today with pure water. All my mounts are anyway. Some of the others I can't really water them, they're still wet from the previous mass watering. But let's move on. This is my Vander bucket, which I've added the fertiliser to. These work better if you turn them on. Okay. Now that's at a level of about 230. Yeah, 230 parts per million, which if you multiply by 1.56, which the science says will take you up to the microsiemens level that everybody likes to use. And for my Vanders and mounted Phalaenopsis and things, that's a relatively low level for me in the grow season, but I'm quite happy to stay with that for today. I might bump it up a bit later in the week. But what's more worrying is this. That was pure RO water yesterday, and all that's happened to it is it's had my fertiliser added, and it's taken it down from 6.9 or around the 7 mark to 6.2. That's not funny. That means that part of the guilty party is this, because that's the only thing that's been added. And that's added 7 or 8 points on the pH scale to my water. And this is what I use all the time. I'm really not happy about that. That's supposed to be neutral, and it flipping well isn't. It's altering my pH. I will now have to rethink. The rethink will probably take the form of using a pH balancing chemical, because I love that fertiliser. It does my plants well. You know, they grow well, and that's the stuff I've been using for a couple of years. And I don't really want to change it. But it might be worth just everybody who uses this stuff or any other fertiliser, you know, see what it's doing to your water. You know, the TDS meters, parts per million, is the level of totally dissolved salts in your water. That's effectively what feeds your orchids. Even if it's what's in the tap water, it's still something going towards feeding your orchids. But pH is a different matter altogether. And I am far from happy that that has actually added that much acidity into my water. So when I was actually worried yesterday about my bucket, you know, changing from around the 7 mark down to less than 6, if you think about 7 or 8 of those points on the pH scale were added by the fertiliser. And then think that from that point, the extra 2 or 3 points on the scale were added by some acidity from some pots, which isn't that bad. If the fertiliser hadn't altered the pH at all, and it stayed at around, say, 6.8, 6.9, the acidity in some of the pots would have changed it to what? 6.5, 6.6? And I wouldn't have panicked. You know, that wouldn't be outrageously high acidity. I'd have just let that go as a gentle build-up through reusing water. But now I've got to rethink about what I do about feeding. This level in this bucket, which I was just about to use for my Vanders when I thought, hang on, let's have a quick check, is now not right. I'm not happy with that. That's too acidic. Now, okay, most of the mounts, they're just going to get water poured through. But that pH meter came with some balancing chemicals, you know, one to reduce acidity, one to reduce alkalinity. I'll get the word out in a minute. It's early in the day. I haven't had enough coffees. But I'll go and have a look and see what the instructions are on those, and I think it means mixing up a base a base solution and then adding a tiny little bit to your water and checking it again and see how much it's moved, and probably moved too much and you have to add a bit of the other stuff and bring it back the other way, and then it goes too far. And I'm going to have a bit of fun, but I think I'm going to do that before I start watering. It's early in the day now, so I've got plenty of time today, but I'm worried. I don't believe a fertiliser should do that to your water. Now, I don't know whether it's because they've changed the mix and there's added sulphur in that mix now. Which, if you think about, where do you see sulphur in nature, in the natural world? Pour it out of volcanoes. So it's not, you know, I don't know whether that has a bearing or not. I don't know enough about that sort of thing. I'm not a scientist at the end of the day. But what I am is a worried orchid grower that my fertiliser is messing my pH up. So I will have to go and deal with that. I'll stick an update in one of the later videos as to how I get on. But this water here now is too acidic. I'm not happy with it. Yeah, value of 6.1, 6.2 is far too close to the 5 mark, the danger zone. You know, once you get down below 6, you're in the danger zone, basically. You know, a figure up near the 7 mark. So, you know, anything from sort of 6.6, 6.7, 6.8, you know, that's sort of okay. It's reasonable. But you have to bear in mind the pH scale is a log scale. So a pH of 6 is 10 times more acidic than 7. A pH of 5 is 100 times more acidic than 7. The scale is dramatic. So as you move away from 7 down towards the 6, you are dramatically getting more and more acidic. Okay, so I'm going to go and have a play with this. Thanks for listening. Thanks for dropping by. I hope I haven't worried too many people, but I know there are quite a lot of people out there using the Akerns rain mix. And it's worth bearing in mind, you know, this could be happening to your water. Well, I don't know about could be, it is. It's just the way it's working. A lot of people will have the old mix before they added the sulphur and fiddled with the other values. The other values didn't change that much. They were slight. They wouldn't have had any sort of dramatic effect. Adding the sulphur may be the catalyst that's whacking the pH up. I don't know. Who knows? They may have changed some of the content. You know, they may have changed their source of the nitrogen sort of base. I don't know. But anyway, that fertiliser is bumping up my pH beyond a point I'm prepared to use that water. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for listening.